On December 1st, 2018, CCTV cameras recorded 22-year-old Grace and her Tinder date, Jesse, leaving a bar after meeting just hours earlier. They appeared ready to head back to his place. Everything seemed normal as they made their way to a nearby hotel and up to Jesse's room. Nobody could have predicted this would be the last time Grace would ever be seen alive.
The next day was Grace's birthday. Nobody could reach her. Her phone went silent. Her friends and family reported her missing as she seemingly vanished without a trace. Meanwhile, surveillance footage captured Jesse moving through his hotel, carrying cleaning supplies and what appeared to be a suitcase. The contents of that suitcase would shock investigators to their core.
At 5:37 p.m. on December 1st, 2018, Grace finished a backpacking journey from England to New Zealand and left her hostel to meet Jesse. Jesse was having pre-date drinks at a local bar, consuming several beers before their meeting. CCTV showed at least 4 empty bottles on his table when he left. They met at a popular location with plenty of people around, giving Grace a sense of safety as she encountered her date for the first time. This would prove to be false security, as Jesse had no intention of attempting anything in public. He planned to wait until they were alone.
Grace accompanied Jesse to a bar where they drank together for over an hour. At 7:15, they moved to a Mexican bar for more drinks, then to another establishment called Bluestone Room around 8:30 p.m. This is where Jesse made his move to get closer to Grace. At 8:54, they shared their first kiss. Jesse took a trip to the bathroom and Grace sent what would be her final message to anyone. She told her friends the date was going amazingly well and that she clicked with him perfectly. She was likely excited to spend the night with someone she genuinely liked, having no idea he was about to end her life. The following morning, Grace's phone began receiving birthday messages from friends wanting to send their best wishes. Every single message went unanswered. The first sign something was wrong came at 8 a.m. when Jesse entered the elevator alone, throwing a suspicious glance at the camera. During the night, Jesse had killed Grace by strangulation. Now he needed to cover up his crime quickly, as he already had another potential victim lined up. By 8:07 a.m., Jesse was in town, beginning an eerie shopping trip. He started at the warehouse on Elliott Street, purchasing a suitcase he planned to use for hiding Grace's body. He checked the width and depth to ensure it would fit her, allowing him to dispose of her body before anyone could catch him. 25 minutes later, he went to another store and bought cleaning products to clean up the murder scene. He returned to his apartment for several hours, reappearing at 10:42 a.m. before taking a taxi to Apex Car Rental, where he rented a vehicle. What Jesse did next was truly shocking and put pressure on police to solve the murder quickly. With Grace's body lying in his apartment, Jesse went on a date with another girl he had met on Tinder. Given that he had all the equipment ready to hide one body, investigators speculated he planned this to be his second victim of the day. Jesse arrived at the bar wearing the exact same clothing from the night before, possibly the same clothes he wore when he killed Grace. The conversation he struck up during this second date brought up major red flags and terrified the woman. He allegedly wanted to discuss where to hide a dead body from police. The date ended immediately, and this woman's instincts may have saved her life. At 8:56 p.m., CCTV captured Jesse carrying equipment back to his apartment, specifically a carpet cleaner. He had 2 bottles of cleaner in his hand, ensuring he had enough supplies for the job. 30 minutes later, the product of his work became visible. He reappeared in the elevator with a trolley carrying several luggage bags, including the suitcase he had purchased that morning. The luggage was extremely heavy because Grace's dead body was inside. He couldn't walk through the streets with this baggage, which explained why he had rented the car. Minutes later, he was loading the rental vehicle with all the luggage, preparing to hide the body somewhere he believed no one would find it. The next morning at 7 a.m., Jesse bought a shovel and returned to his apartment to collect clothing for the dry cleaners, destroying more potential evidence. He stopped at a trash can, tossing a large trash bag inside. Then Jesse took his rental car for a thorough cleaning, paying particular particular attention to the rear where he had placed the suitcase containing Grace's body.
The next 2 days, Grace's family and friends experienced turmoil. She hadn't posted on social media and wasn't answering either of her phones. Her family reported her missing to Auckland police on December 5th. Grace's father, David, flew to Auckland and made a heartfelt public appeal for his daughter's safe return.
With extensive media coverage, Jessie likely saw her father's appeal, yet the family's pleas went unanswered. Auckland police began using various methods to track Grace's last movements and identify their main suspect. They discovered she was on a date with a mystery man, and after reviewing hours of surveillance footage, found the last person she was with and traced him back to his apartment.
At 3 p.m. on December 5th, police arrived at the City Life Hotel. They almost missed their target as Jesse spotted them in the lobby. When he approached the front door, Jesse thought he could casually walk away unnoticed, but the alert officers quickly apprehended him before he could escape. In the interrogation room, Jesse planned to lie his way out of the situation, completely unaware that police had already seen every move from the night of the murder and possessed substantial evidence. At the start of the interview, Jesse recounted events before the murder, describing how he met Grace on Tinder after they matched on Friday and decided to meet the next day at Sky City before going to Andy's Burger Bar. Jesse became entangled in his first lie when he claimed Grace was pushing for the date, when evidence showed he was the one trying hard to meet Grace in their initial messages. When confronted about his route choices and behavior, his responses didn't align or make sense. Police applied pressure, and Jesse began to panic when they suggested Grace might be dead and that he could be responsible. He asked if he was being arrested, but wasn't formally arrested at that point. Auckland police were convinced Jesse was either behind Grace's disappearance or involved. Their investigation revealed that the suitcase and cleaning products Jesse purchased the morning after were bought using Grace's credit card, as was an extra night's stay at the City Life Hotel. He possibly paid for his second date using Grace's credit card as well. When police searched his apartment, they found traces of Grace's blood, combined with credit card payments, witness testimony, cell phone locations placing Grace and Jesse together, and detailed surveillance footage. They had their suspect cornered. In his second interview on December 7th, Jesse had no choice but to confess. His confession would lead to one of the most controversial defenses ever used in court. Jesse claimed they had been talking about 50 Shades of Grey and that Grace asked if they could engage in bondage. He said he fell asleep in the shower and woke up to find her dead. He described being in shock and not knowing what to do. Jesse confessed to buying the suitcase at the warehouse, purchasing cleaning products, and meeting his friend at a bar after. He described putting Grace's body in the suitcase, loading it onto a trolley, and driving to Wilson's car park. He woke up at 5 a.m. the next day and drove to Kumeu, where he bought a shovel. He drove toward the Waitakere Ranges, went into the bush, dug a hole, retrieved the suitcase, and covered the hole. He disposed of Grace's belongings in rubbish bins at Albert Park. The media called it the 50 Shades of Grey defense. The concept suggests someone may consent to being harmed during intimacy, and if they made no indication to stop, it would be considered an accident rather than murder. However, this defense has been viewed as a legal scapegoat to achieve a lighter sentence of manslaughter instead of murder. This defense didn't address what happened after Grace's death and the disturbing series of events uncovered during investigation. From December 1st through December 7th, police found Google searches made by Jesse looking for places to hide a body. He had also taken photos of Grace's body before and after packing her into the suitcase. Police found Grace's body on December 9th, 2018 in the Waitakere Ranges outside Auckland. It was determined she was strangled and had bruises on her arms and chest, consistent consistent with being pinned down. In New Zealand, there are no degrees of murder. All charges carry the same life sentence, meaning there was no investigation into premeditation. The only question was whether Jesse killed her or not.
Jesse maintained his innocence, but was eventually found guilty. On February 21, 2020, he was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum non-parole period of 17 years. After his trial, 2 more women came forward, claiming Jesse had assaulted them after meeting him on Tinder. He was found guilty on those charges as well, adding another 11 years to his life sentence.
This case serves as a stark reminder of the dangers that can lurk behind seemingly normal online dating encounters. Grace Mullane was simply a young woman exploring the world, seeking connection in a foreign country. Her trust was betrayed in the most horrific way possible, and her life was cut tragically short by someone who used modern dating technology to prey upon vulnerable victims. The thorough police investigation, aided by extensive CCTV coverage throughout Auckland, ultimately brought Jesse to justice. The evidence against him was overwhelming, from surveillance footage tracking his every movement to forensic evidence in his apartment and his own digital footprint using Grace's credit card. While Jesse attempted to use a controversial legal defense, the jury saw through his claims and delivered justice for Grace and her family. The additional charges brought by other women who came forward after his conviction revealed a pattern of predatory behavior that likely would have continued had he not been caught. Grace's father's emotional appeal during the search for his daughter highlighted the devastating impact such crimes have on families. Her disappearance on what should have been a celebration of her birthday added another layer of tragedy to an already horrific situation. The case also highlighted how quickly a situation can turn dangerous, even when meeting in public places that seem safe. Grace took reasonable precautions by meeting Jesse in populated areas, but his calculated patience in waiting until they were alone before acting shows the deliberate nature of his crime. The speed and efficiency of Jesse's cover-up attempts, from purchasing disposal equipment to cleaning supplies to renting a car, suggests a level of premeditation that contradicts his claimed accident defense. His decision to go on another Tinder date while Grace's body was still in his apartment demonstrates a chilling lack of remorse and suggests he viewed her as nothing more than an obstacle to eliminate.
This case stands as both a successful example of modern investigative techniques and a sobering reminder of the need for continued vigilance in personal safety, particularly in the age of online dating platforms that can be exploited by those with harmful intentions.